Okay, we're back. Can anybody hear me? Give me a thumbs up. Anybody?
Nobody's joined yet.
Okay. So, we had a little technical difficulty. Hopefully we're back on. If anybody's on there, just give me a thumbs up so I know that you're watching and you can hear me. Anybody?
Yeah, I'm getting thumbs up now.
Okay, excellent. So we're back. So happy Friday, everybody. That's what I said before earlier. I talked a little bit about the lobster raviolis that we're using tonight. We're using Rana lobster raviolis from Costco. These are probably one of the best store-bought raviolis. I like to make my own, but that's a whole nother show. And trust me, we need a lot more time to get the lobster raviolis done. So first, if you saw me before, I have my mussels starting. A little bit of water, a little bit of garlic in my mussels. And now I'm just going to get the bread in the oven. So I'm going to make a little bit of garlic bread. This is ciabatta bread. A little bit of garlic salt. And I don't know what happened the first time around, but you know, things happen. I have a little bit of grated Romano cheese. And you probably didn't hear me say before, once I start this dish, this seafood Newburg, it's gonna be really quick. I'm gonna try to go as slow as possible. I have some new friends out there watching today. Hopefully Kathy and Angel are watching. And I know a few other friends that Facebooked me this week and asked me to let them share the video. Still trying to learn how to share it. So far, we have the mussels going. We have today some fresh squid. We have the tentacles and the bodies. Again, on my list of ingredients, I said that these were optional. This is the crab meat I told you about. I don't want to use the sticks. This is the chunk, so you can break it up. And it's really nice. I have some really big shrimp today. These are the U12, so there's 12 per pound. And the shop list I gave you, I told you to get 12 shrimp and 12 scallops. These are regular sea scallops. I removed the mussel on the side because that's really tough. Every little scallop has a small little mussel on the side. These are kind of big too, so I'm gonna cut these up. So my garlic bread's working. My water's nice and hot. Hopefully my mussels will start to open up soon. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut up the squid. I'm going to take the bodies and make little rings out of them. Leave the tentacles as they are. Okay. This was about a little over 1/4 pound of squid. Now, when I used to do cook to order pasta bars, I used to call this dish here, I used to call it my seafood stew. And people loved it, but it's really a seafood Newburg. The Newburg is the cream, it's the sherry, it's the paprika that gives it the color. So we have our squid cut up. As I said, these scallops are really big. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the scallop, I'm just going to slice them in half. They'll cook really quick. This is really a saute dish.
I'm going to come from the other side.
Okay. Not every scallop I'm going to cut, just some of the real big ones. Okay, that's good. The rest of them are pretty good. So we have our scallops, our calamari cut. The shrimp, as I said, these are U12, which means there's 12 per pound. I'm just going to get these ready. I just butterflied them a little bit more. I left the tails on them. These are already deveined. I deveined them when I shelled them. Just want to cut them up a little bit more. These were already cut. The backs were already cut, but I like to give it butterfly it a little bit better and fan it out as I'm cooking it. The raviolis are going to cook pretty quick. I mean, once the raviolis are in the water, once they start rising to the top, they're pretty much done. So this dish is all about timing. So if you made a pasta beforehand, like a tortellini or a ziti, and you cooled it down like I showed you before when we made our gravy, as long as you have your pot of boiling water, you can get the pasta in the water just about when this dish is almost ready. So I'm going to get ready. My seafood is almost prepared and ready to go. Prepped and ready to go. Anybody have any questions so far? Okay. On the list of ingredients, I told you you're going to need a little bit of cornstarch. Just take a little bowl, a nice big heaping 2 teaspoons of cornstarch. And the trick with the cornstarch is cold water, not hot water. And you only need a little. And what you're going to do is you're making a slurry, a cornstarch slurry. And this is going to thicken it up. I mean, the heavy cream is going to thicken it up easy, but this will tighten it up really well. So our cornstarch slurry is done. Everybody with me?
Yeah, Lance wants to know how to devein a shrimp.
Okay, when you devein a shrimp, you take the shrimp and you shell it. What I do is I hold the top by the tail. I peel the shrimp. You take a knife, small knife, run it up the back, and as you run it up the back, you'll see a dark vein that's going to be in the back of the shrimp. You just take it and peel it right out. I already did these earlier, so they're already ready to go. That's that. My mussels are starting to boil, which is good. I'm just going to wash my hands real quick. The only thing I didn't pull out of my spice cabinet is a little bit of parsley for decorations later. I'll grab that now. Parsley. So if you want to grab your parsley out of your spice cabinet, grab your parsley. Okay, is everybody caught up? Everybody where they're supposed to be right now?
No comments.
So, as you can see, the mussels and the garlic, they're starting to open up. All right. You can really cheat if you want on this. You can use cooked shrimp. And the only really thing you're cooking is the scallops and the squid, and they both cook up quick. The crab meat's already cooked. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my lobster ravioli. And like I said, we can make our own homemade lobster raviolis in the future, but these are really good. If you haven't tried it from Costco, it's like $13, $12.99 for all these lobster raviolis. They're really fat. They have a lot of lobster in them. And just try to break them apart so they don't stick together in the water. Just drop them in. These are going to take about 5 or 6 minutes to cook. Okay, lobster ravioli are in. Mussels are ready to go. I'm going to shut those off. See how quick that was? What? 6, 7 minutes, the mussels are done. So first of all, you're going to take about 3 tablespoons of butter. No calories in this dish whatsoever, okay? These are all fake calories. I have my olive oil. Use about, it's about a little less than 1/4 of a cup. And then you want to get your pan Turn your oven on, your gas on. A lot of people ask me about my stove. I know a couple other people who watch this live on my street, and they say, hey, how can you have gas? There's no gas on our street. This is a propane stove. I love it. It's you know, I spent a lot of money on it, but I really do enjoy this stove. I have a big propane tank out back. I only fill it about once a year, and I go all year long cooking on this stove. So as the butter and oil are starting to get warm, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take about 2 good tablespoons of garlic. You with me? Everybody with me? 2 tablespoons of garlic, butter, and oil. And let's see how we're doing over here. Lobster raviolis are coming out nice. Excellent. So, almost ready. You don't want to burn the garlic. You don't want to get it too hot. So I'm gonna pan sear a couple of scallops. As I told you before, if you heard some of my other stories, everybody likes different dishes in my house. My wife is a fan of scallops, but she doesn't like them in a sauce, so I'm gonna pan sear hers, and her lobster raviolis are just gonna be with a butter sauce. So I'm gonna get this pan nice and hot over here. This nice little cast iron pan. Okay, we're almost ready. Now the shrimp are the biggest, as you can see, so the shrimp take the longest to cook. So I'm going to take the shrimp, I'm going to throw them in the pan. Probably about 3 minutes, the shrimp will be done. So this dish is a layered dish. I'm going to start with the shrimp. Give those a couple of minutes to cook. As they're cooking, check my raviolis are coming up nice. The raviolis are really good. I'm going to shut them off. So they're going to stay in the water for a little while longer as I'm cooking, but they'll be ready. And in this pan, see how they're starting to cook? Getting a nice pink color. Okay. So anybody have any questions so far as we're going along? It's funny, me and Mike were talking earlier, and technology is an amazing thing. For some reason, I don't know what got in my head, but I remembered, and I'm going to be giving my age away. Who remembers Romper Room and Miss Jean? Anybody out there remember them? Remember her magic mirror? She used to talk to the people as she looked in the mirror. I almost feel like that's what I'm doing here. A little bit of trivia. Does anybody know what year Romper Room started? Anybody? Any?
Yeah.
Dropping my scallops in now. Everybody with me? So far we just have scallops and shrimp in the pan, butter, garlic, and oil.
We got 1 vote for 1967.
Anybody else?
Someone complained that Miss Jean never said Olivia.
Never said Olivia? Okay, who remembers Major Mudd? Anybody remember Major Mudd? Got a trivia question for you. Who remembers the name of his spaceship? I'm really dating myself here.
Romper Room 1961.
Close. Getting better.
You rinse and dry your scallops before cooking.
I did. I rinse them and I dry them because any water on them would make this dish almost like sweat. So the water, and as you can see, these are dry scallops. They were very dry. So we're going to get these ones searing in this pan. So, as we're going, now we're going to add our shrimp. We have our shrimp scallops. Now, I like the tentacles of the shrimp, of the squid. and the bodies. I cut them into tubes. I'm going to add a little bit of salt and pepper at this point. A little bit of salt in my scallops. A little bit of pepper. I'm holding off on the crab meat because, like I said, the crab meat's already cooked. I want to get all this stuff nice and cooked. Shrimp are almost there. The scallops are almost there. The squid. Extremely easy dish. See how nice and brown the scallops are coming? And you can tell by the feel and the texture of the squid. Once the squid is almost cooked, what I'm going to do now, you can see how stiff it's getting. It's not rubbery anymore. Well, it's still a little bit rubbery, but it's not slimy anymore. They're starting to cook nice. So we have our shrimp, our scallops, our squid. Now I'm going to take the crab meat. When I put the crab meat in, I kind of like break it up to kind of resemble real Alaskan king crab leg. This dish would be 4 times the money if I used actual Alaskan king crab leg. I love Alaskan king crab leg. Very expensive. We treat ourselves every once in a while to these, to the crab legs. Okay. Anybody have any questions of what we have going so far? All our seafood's going nice. Let me check these out. Oh yeah, once they start sticking, see how nice and brown those are? Perfect. Shut those off. Done. Now, my dish is coming together nicely. The shrimp are done, the scallops are done, the squid is almost there. The crab meat just needs to get hot. So right now, we're going to add our paprika. Okay? This is just regular McCormick's paprika. And we're going to add a good amount of paprika. And what the paprika does in this, it gives it the pinkish color. Hold on 1 second. Okay, perfect. So we have our paprika.
What was that, like a teaspoon?
A good full teaspoon of paprika. Make sure you get it all through it, sprinkle it. As you can see, the dish is starting to turn red now. Now we're going to take our dry sherry. This is Taylor dry sherry. Very sweet, very nice. And I'm going to add about, probably half a cup of sherry. So, our Newburg is coming out wonderful. I'm going to take some fresh mussels now. Put them in here. We'll eat the rest of those afterwards. Get that little one ring away. Okay. You can use clams, not steamers. You can use mahogany clams for this dish. Okay. Now comes the heavy cream. I'm making a lot tonight because I have, like I said, I have friends. So I'm going to do almost a good, probably 2 cups of heavy cream here. Okay. Now this is just going to simmer for a couple of minutes. Get all that paprika through the heavy cream. And as you can see, this is, when I have the stew, I leave it like this. But when I make the Newburg, I tighten it up with the slurry, and you'll see that in a couple of minutes. Okay, we're good. See this? How's everybody doing? Is everybody with me still? See the way that's starting to boil? You need this really hot to make the slurry work. And when I pour that slurry in, it's going to tighten this right up. Okay.
Someone wants to know if you could use a larger pan.
Yes, you could. You could use a much bigger pan, but okay. Now we're putting in the cornstarch. We're just going to get it all around the pan. Get it all in there. Now I'm going to shut it off. So it's off. Now as this starts to simmer, it's going to start to tighten up. Just want to taste this. Hold on a second. Oh yeah. Yep. It's there. I'm gonna have to turn it back on for a second, a little bit more longer. Come on, thicken up a little more. I want it just a little bit thicker. Now I'm going to start plating my lobster raviolis. I like to get them all facing up. These are nice plump raviolis.
Can you show us what facing up looks like?
Yeah, I need a few in here. So you can tell, see the difference? So we have a nice plate of lobster ravioli. Another one going. This dish, this is probably this could feed probably 8 people very easily tonight. I added a few more. See the way that's nice and tight now? Look at this. Perfect. All right, now I'm gonna put this in here. I'm gonna take this. What I'm gonna do first, I'm gonna take some of the mussels first. Take those off, put them on here. Keep losing one. Okay. Okay, then I'm going to take my spoon. Get all that nice seafood. Look at that. One. Get all the seafood on there. A little more sauce. A little bit of parsley. A little bit of parsley. There we go there. Now I'm going to throw the broiler on. Oh, I don't have to. The red's perfect. Thought I was going to have to broil it for a second, but it's been in there long enough. Take my red. These are nice and crisp. And what I'll do is I'll take all this juice and I'll put it in another dish and just dunk that bread in that dish afterwards. Now we have the lobster raviolis with the seared scallops. I'm going to turn this back on for a second. I'm going to throw a little bit more butter in here. Make a nice sauce for this one. And that'll be ready to go. Nice piece of bread on this one. So, tonight was very easy, as you can see. We have a beautiful Newburgh sauce here that I'm going to put in a bowl, and we'll dunk the bread in that to eat that. All our seafoods, shrimp, scallops, squid, mussels, crab meat. Lobster and scallops, lobster ravioli, scallops, and a brown butter sauce. A little bit of a Romano cheese. And we are done tonight. So, once again, thank you very much. Easy dishes to make. You're right, could have used a bigger pan tonight. My bad, but we got it, we made it. We got a bowl for this sauce. That is some delicious dipping sauce right there. Well, until next week, everybody, thank you very much. Bon appetit. And like I said, I have plenty. Anybody wants to come over, I know I have to make a to-go dish for one of my friends who couldn't be here. So I'll take care of that. But again, thank you very much. And give me some suggestions for next week. If the weather's nice, we can either go outside and do some grilling. I'm going to open up my pizza oven this week. If the weather gets better, they're talking snow tonight, so hopefully we don't get much snow and we're back into a groove in the beginning of the week with some nice warm weather. Until next week, bon appetit.